part of it.
You would have to wrap up that part. Yep.
Yeah, you kind of first acted on that to kind of finish that to get to the next juxtaposition.
But you wouldn't want to let I know this is so hard nowadays, but I wouldn't want to let anyone know. You know what I mean? Like this would all be revealed at the end. It would just be this cool action movie where like they're all teaming up, the Suicide Squad and the Justice League, to do with magic. Now we got magic in there. You know, maybe you get some cool characters like Dr. Fate makes a cameo or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Spectre
shit like that.
coming in.
Yeah, something like that, you know? But it has to end on an island. I want to see like a tropical island with Batman and like the Flash on it against like, you know, Boomerang and like all them. And then, you know, then Harley Quinn and them like went through a portal and they're there. And then essentially it ends with them opening the door, and it would end on that cliffhanger, and everyone would be like, what?
And then your next movie, the first 20 minutes, are everything that happened behind that door.
Before
they come
through.
So,
yeah, that would be the first act of the third movie.
And what happens on that world is there's like a, you know, good version of Luthor. Essentially, there's two ways you could go. You could go like the New 52 route, or like a kind of a made-up version. The New 52 route would be like Darkseid destroyed their world, or you know, like Darkseid came to all the worlds like he did in Justice League, the New 52.
But he actually won.
But they won.
Yeah.
You know, so then he comes to their world and they win, but you know, I don't know, they use somebody like the evil version of the Atom or someone like that.
Would you have one central bad guy too?
What do you mean?
Like a Darkseid being the main person
that's
pulling
the
strings?
thing. You can't do like another big blue guy.
Yeah.
You can't do another big purple guy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You got to have them fight, and it would just be cool to have a story where like different things are going on, and I want to have them fight like contemporaries of each other.
Yeah.
Like, so I want to see Batman go up against like Boomerang real quick, and he's like, oh, you know, crikey. And then like Wonder Woman comes in and like lassos like, you know, Killer Frost, but she like uses her freeze thing to like make it go away, so she can't like work. I don't know. I just want to see like you know, Justice League, but not versus the Legion of Doom quite yet.
Yeah,
because at the end of all this, Luthor's still watching and biding his time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
the third movie, is Legion of Doom.
Well, the other thing is you do the first 20 minutes of what's on the other side of that door. Then you do the battle on the beach, and like somehow the crime syndicate kind of gets the upper hand and wins because they're attacked and they don't know. Then it leads into like some unexpected characters getting more of their comeuppance. Like Luthor is put in a position where he can be, he can use this his knowledge and his advantage of this to become, you know, like not a demigod, but he can get a step up on. He can get everyone to think that he's the good guy and come in and save the day.
So he could become the president.
But he gets to be like part of the exactly. That's where I was going with it. So like again, the third one is he becomes the president and forms the Legion of Doom secretly.
Yeah, I love it.
And the second one, Luthor comes in to like help, and like some of the bad guys get more of like an upper, like Plastic Man. I thought could get a really cool arc where he, you know, they all kind of think he's like the Flash, and everyone blame him for information leaking out or something like that.
Because he's a new guy.
Because he's a new guy and he has a criminal background, but he's like, no, man, I'm doing my best here. And Batman doesn't really say anything because he knows that he didn't do it, but he still can't figure it out.
Right.
I want Batman to be in there.
So it's like, it's really essentially, you could almost say it's a whole Batman trilogy, but yet, because he's the one that's sitting in the background looking over everything and knows.
I would say the second movie is more of a detective style movie.
Yeah,
there we
Batman's
go.
arc, anyways.
Yeah,
because he has to go about solving this problem of like.
But while that's going on, there's a lot of other things going on. I'm assuming in this second movie.
Yeah,
I could really see something like again,
like chaos. Like in the comics, it led into Forever Evil, where like all the bad guys won,
right?
And it was kind of chaos. I would do something like that, but not as like worldwide. It would just be like, you know, news would be reporting that the crime syndicate's essentially taken over like a country, and it could be the U.S. or something like that, or like
just some weird country out in the middle of nowhere.
or like I thought maybe like I don't know, something floating out there
Cuba.
like or Antarctica, like
just
a
weird,
different location, or maybe the moon because their base was on the moon, I think in Earth 3.
Right.
So I don't know. Basically, like they start to be like, okay, this is our world now. Like they think they beat the Justice League and the Task Force X, you know, and those are the only two defenses that the planet would have against something like this.
But then you could do a Green Lantern come in at that point too.
You could, yeah.
You could bring him in somehow because
maybe his movie takes place before this. What I would do is with a Green Lantern movie is you would have someone like Kyle Rayner become the
Yes.
new Green Lantern of this sector, and he would be transported to Oa and explained everything, a bunch of juxtaposition and stuff like that, or exposition, not juxtaposition. And then he would have to go find Hal, who's like got gray in his hair, and like something bad happened. Like he tried to use his ring to bring Coast City back after it was destroyed, and everyone's like, "Oh, I thought that was like like a freak accident. Like everyone knows about it in
Right.
the world." And then it's like Training Day in space, and then basically he kind of redeems himself a little bit, and then maybe they come back to Earth, and it's like, what the hell is the crime syndicate going?
Yeah,
on their way
how
to
are they
Maybe
here?
that's how
Yeah.
their movie ends.
they
Yeah.
on their way to Earth, they run into the moon, and they're like on the moon, and they get like blasted out of the sky or something.
Yeah, like how does this? Yeah,
He's like fighting Ultraman up there, and this guy's like, who was this?
yeah.
Listen here, you mooly fucker.
Then
Yeah,
maybe you
movie
could do
fucker.
something with Legion or something like that too. The the Space Police Force, having them with.
I would
Green
just
Lantern.
keep it with the Green Lantern Corps would be the
Yeah,
police
yeah.
force. In
Yeah, I
space.
don't think that I would. I mean, you could absolutely do that. And I guess that would set up like a good third movie.
Sure,
to
with like
bring-
Luther becoming like more favored because
and then
he
well,
would come
and if
through
you
and
wanted to
save the
bring
day,
in
kind
Green
of.
Lantern, in that you could. I think that's a really good
Yeah,
story arc.
I would
Yeah.
pull like a lot that I've read from that like I said the George Miller Justice League Mortal script, Grant Morrison's JLA where he like introduced Batman and like Kyle Rayner's in there and Connor Hawke and stuff like that.
Who would you have play Ultraman?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like if it was still Henry Cavill, I would do like John Hamm. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, like who would your casting choices be? Like idea wise, would you keep with?
I would keep with what they
some of the
have.
modern?
I mean, like if they kept Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson, you just do someone who like Zac Efron or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, on the
you
other
would do
side,
someone
okay.
like just like
Zac Efron's Owlman.
but he also has to be like really smart and like kind of vindictive, and you want someone older
Sure.
and evil there, and you want someone who's kind of like a contemporary of Gal Gadot if you're going to keep her as Wonder Woman, like Charlize Theron or something. You know what I mean? Like just someone who. It's hard to say because they keep changing it, and I don't want to go through and like pick my Batman choices.
Yeah.
I just want to see certain things. Like I want to see Batman in like an all black suit again with like a yellow oval, like he's drawn by Howard Porter in like the JLA series, but he's like working alongside Flash and Plastic Man and Wonder Woman and things like that. I want to see them do things in the beginning like stop a crime. You know what I mean? And it's like a B-list villain, like like a Dr. Light, like I said, or like Felix Faust. They're out in like a Mexican jungle, and it's like a temple or something, and he's like sacrificing some lady, and they have to like save him.
Yeah.
Like it gets kind of dark, but it also kind of you don't want to have. I want to have brighter colors in it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Well, I see how your color palette would be with those characters, but then you could change up the color palette per movie at the
Sure.
darkness of it. So you go to the other side and it's more darker on the third one, and then the fourth one be more vivid. You know,
I
what
mean, I wouldn't go so far as like 4 movies. I was just thinking this story would be the 1-2 part.
Yeah.
And then if you had the option to do a third one, it could be cool with like a Luther being like, now I'm going to run for president because I just like helped kill. I just helped
You could
defeat
even
Ultraman.
you could
know what I
even
mean?
come in where he is the president
Sure.
and is already creating the Legion of Doom, putting
Mhm.
that together. That would be like your beginning part. You could like maybe even have like newscast about him winning the presidency, and then go from
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And then in
yeah.
the Legion of Doom, I would definitely want to have, like, I would kind of take after the Doom movie, but also some of the Legion of Doom on the cartoons, I think, too. So I wouldn't put Joker in there, but I put, like, Scarecrow in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would put, like, Black Manta and Deathstroke, because Deathstroke was already kind of introduced at the end of Justice League. Why waste the scene that you've already used?
And they have a great person to play him too.
yeah, that Joe Montello guy or whatever his name is.
Joe Montana.
Montana.
Montalegio or
yeah,
some-
Magnello
I don't know,
or
he was
something
on
like
True
that.
Oh,
Blood.
yeah. He was like Pee Wee Herman's best friend
Yeah.
in the new Pee Wee Herman movie.
I mean, like, you
Scuba
could
Cop.
You want to get actors who are going to be, I guess, more in like this Robert Pattinson age area, And I
Yeah.
know people don't like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, but I would keep him because he's already been established, and I think he's a good actor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want people in that range so they can keep playing these characters for a little while and do a couple movie story arcs.
Like, how about directors? Who would you use as a director for this?
I think I would bring George Miller back maybe from the Mad Max thing because he's already had, but he has maybe a bad taste in his mouth from
For
that.
DC, sure.
So,
But
with
if he
Warner
did,
Brothers,
but if he did another kind of almost like a chase kind of a deal,
it
to
could
where
be,
the action doesn't stop, would you really have a lot of lull time in it, like character building scenes,
No,
or
if
would
I
it just
had-
be more straight action the
it
whole
would
way?
be it would be like if it's not action, every scene has to tell a story purpose. So every scene has to be like, if it's a break, it has to show the connection between Plastic Man and like how he's kind of developing within the team. And I would always have Batman be like, he would always know the answers and just say, he would be kind of in the background. Like they would be talking and then Batman would just be like, no, it's over here or whatever. Like he would
like
have
how
the answer.
Batman is.
I would
Yeah.
want him to be portrayed really cool and
More kind of in the back seat type of a deal, but still running the shit
yeah.
Yeah,
And again,
like Batman does.
like the storylines I mentioned, like the Justice League versus Suicide Squad in the Rebirth era here. This is only a couple of years old, and then the New 52 Trinity War storyline. I just really dug the art and how in that one, because Superman is poisoned, he kind of goes crazy and loses control of his powers, and he actually blows up Dr. Light's head because they're using Dr. Light like
Yeah.
on their team, kind of in a way. He's not a bad guy, I don't think, who raped fucking elongated man's wife.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
his real story.
That's his
Wow.
real story, and then they erased his mind. That's what Identity Crisis is about.
Oh. So no, I mean,
I feel like you could go a lot of directions with that, but I think that 2-story arc sounds great.
Yeah,
I think it does lend itself to the third movie, like you said. And man, you would have a great Justice League,
if I had my way, yeah.
trilogy
yeah,
you could.
to really cement.
And then
This
character,
is the
yeah.
DC universe.
Yeah.
the idea I had
you know.
spinning out of this as franchises is because after everything's all said and done, they would form a Justice League of America. So then you could do a JLA movie on its own,
Sure.
and they would do a Justice League International.
Okay.
And so maybe like the government would be like, okay, Amanda Waller, we're going to dissolve Task Force X, but we're going to put you in charge of,
You're going to be the liaison.
you're going to be the liaison to the Justice League International. And by the way, here's Max Lord. He's going to help you too. And he smiles and like, excuse me, I have a bloody nose.
Yeah.
And then you can introduce characters like Fire and Ice and Booster Gold and Martian Manhunter could be over there maybe.
Yeah.
And you could.
because you really didn't kind of have him introduced.
I wouldn't do him because it's just too
It's too much.
It's just too
Yeah,
much. You
yeah.
don't want to cram. I don't want to cram too much in there. The bullet points I wanted to get across is that after this 2-movie arc, I didn't really have the idea of a third one, but that does sound cool. With more of like a Luthor and Legion of Doom type thing, but I would have it spin out, and that could be titled JLA. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. Is I would have one called JLA and then one called Justice League International, and you could do 2 different movies, but it doesn't have to be like Justice League 2, Justice League 3.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be these other things that spun out of this storyline.
Sure.
Essentially, I just want to see Shazam and Wonder Woman team up on like a magical journey.
That
I want to
seems
see them fight on a beach. I want to see Plastic Man in live action, and I want to end it on a cliffhanger where like the bad guys walk out of the portal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that would actually be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and like you don't have again 100% cemented on who you would have direct cinematography.
Oh, I was gonna say as far as
music.
like cinematography, I really like Dan Mindell. He did like the first Star Trek movie from 2009 and like Mission Impossible 3 and some other stuff. I don't really know about all that. I'd have to really look at all that. But if I had my way on a director, and I'd have to make him passionate about it or whatever, I would probably pick someone like J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
I really kind of like that, but without the shaky cam style.
yeah.
I just want it. I want it shot in the 1:8 ratio where there's no black bars on the top and bottom of your screen, like Avengers, the first Avengers, and Justice League was shot that way. Not the second, not
to where
the
they're
two-
actually pulling back on the fights, and you're not like in the fight.
No, I want to be like no black bars on the top and bottom.
But like your cameras are more static on it,
I definitely
to
would
where
want
you
more.
actually get to see the actual fight instead.
I don't
of,
want like J.J. Abrams like the shaky cam, but I do expect him to do that one shot where like it pans over and like zooms in on something real quick that's like falling in the ocean.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
He always has like that one shot. But yeah, and maybe not so many lens flares and stuff. But I like J.J. Abrams. I can't really think of who else I would put on it. Maybe like I have Grant Morrison there as a, you know,
Yeah, who would you have write the whole script?
I don't even know, man. Me?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I would get like a screenwriter. I
Who
mean,
would you sit with to write the script? Who would you want to sit with?
I don't know. I
Tell
like
them
Drew.
this,
I like
yeah.
Drew Pierce. Like he wrote some of the Mission Impossible movies. Didn't he do Iron Man 3? Drew Goddard. You know, he